Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and tonight I'm joined by Sean Conley and Kevin McCluskey. What a first half performance. Sean, we go behind. We go a goal behind. There's a few moments. There's maybe a 10-minute period. You're thinking, right, they're really putting the pressure on here. Have we learned anything from Dortmund? Can we keep the game in our grasp? And what a finish to the half. Nicolas Kühn, that was incredible.
Yeah, man, I'm shaking here. Like it was really something. Like I had down in my notes like we were all over them first 20 minutes, and then 20 to 33, Leipzig really put the press on us. They were so dangerous from those corners that I think it's Campbell. His delivery is amazing.
Yeah.
Campbell, the defender's a real threat. And we were lucky to not be two down from that other corner that just goes wide of the post. And then in the last 12 minutes, 13 minutes of that half, we got back on top and we scored the 2 goals that put us at, just still peeling myself off the roof here. I was just getting ready to come on and do the half time, and then Celtic just out of nowhere just put on a hard press up really in the corner. It was a real scrap, and just it was pure fight as well as quality at the end there. There's been a lot of quality throughout the game from both teams, but also a lot of fight from Celtic as well, and that was what made the difference there at the end of the half.
Joe Hart's been talking about this game, about it being like a boxing bout, Kevin, and they're just sparring through the first few rounds and we're learning a wee bit more. Evenly matched. I can't disagree with that, Kevin. And I'm going to throw it out there because we spoke about what do you learn from getting humbled 7-1 from Dortmund? And I think what we spoke about before the game, Kev, is not allowing the game to run away from you. And that period that Sean was talking about there, it could easily have then gone 2-0 and then you're right up against it. But what a character we showed to get back into the game.
Oh, absolutely. Unbelievable. I'm the same as Sean. I think you're still going to have to peel me down off the ceiling just now. So after the end of that half, it was unreal. I've got very similar kind of notes actually to Sean in terms of that timeline of the first half. I'd broken it down. It was like a half of 3/3. We're on top in the beginning of the game and we're looking really bright and positive. There's a lot of high pressing, quick tempo, creating half chances, and we're looking like we're really settled into the game. Then that middle period of the half, Leipzig are a good team, and they showed that they started to pounce at every single loose pass that we made. There was maybe only 3 or 4 of them, but they were on top of every single one. They were on top in that period and they were getting in behind. They scored the goal, like Sean says, they almost get the second. But there's Joe Hart, I think, as you mentioned in the co-coms, has been fantastic. He'll talk you through this game as a Celtic fan, talking you through this match, calming you down at certain points, telling you what we need to do, what the team needs to do, which was just, we needed a period in that middle third just to put our foot on the ball, regain our composure, regain possession for a wee bit, and ease ourselves back into the game. And that's exactly what we did. He's mentioned Joe Hart quite a few times as well about the combination work of Johnson and Kühn on the right-hand side, and it's no surprise that that's where the goals come from, down that side. Well, certainly when the first one comes. But yeah, we showed amazing character, I think, to ride through that difficult spell in the middle of the match, to then come out 2-1 in front. Unbelievable. And that goal by Nicolas Kühn, we spoke about him before the game. This is a statement game for him where he needs to really impress in front of a German team. And that goal, if that's a Brazilian, that old one, if it's a Brazilian, that you're showing that goal over and over again because it's absolute class. It's brilliance. The pass with it outside of the left boot that sends Maeda through moments after, again, unreal. Those moments, I think, really helped to kick us on in the final moments of the half, and the goal itself, again, it's just brilliant. It's back to that counter pressing that we were doing in the first 15 minutes. We were able to do it again in the final 5 minutes of the half. In the very last action of the game, we steal the ball in their corner area, create a goal out of nothing, and that is, again, it's the mark of a top team. We're beginning to prove slowly, game by game, that we are deserving of being in this arena. I don't want to speak too soon, but again, that was just an amazing first half. You've just got to hope, I suppose, that they haven't expended too much energy doing it, but the crowd will give them so much more for the second 45 as well.
You used the word energy, and you quite rightly pointed out that listening to Joe Hart is brilliant because you can tell the passion's there, but he also gives you just enough insight. You know, he was talking about Kühn last season, things we'll never learn. The way that Brendan Rodgers was talking to Kühn in the dressing room and things like that. And he was going on about the energy. So he says the energy is back. After we equalised, he said the energy was back. And what he was speaking about was the energy in the stadium. And then the energy from the crowd, he started speaking about that as well, Sean. That atmosphere is absolutely breathtaking. And that's us just watching it on the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is something. It is an added extra playing the game at home. We're up against a right good side here. This is a very good side. We should not underestimate that in any way, shape, or form. Going in at half time being 2-1 up, it's a cracking result. But I get the feeling, Sean, we need a third goal against this team.
Yeah, and like you're right, they're not lying down to us, right? Like the first 20 minutes where we were on top, it wasn't because they were lying down. It was because we were playing some great first touch passing. We were playing good football, and they were just not able to keep up with it. And then in that spell where they're on top, we stopped doing that. We stopped taking those first touch passes. There's one point where it goes out to Maeda. There's a very obvious first touch pass to complete the triangle with McGregor, and he takes not McGregor, Taylor, who's making an overlap and run, and he takes an extra touch and tries to find McGregor instead. Gets caught in possession. They go counter, and it ends up in a corner. So like that was. When we were not playing our best, they took advantage of that and had a dominant spell. And then we settled again and started to do that again. And I think obviously Kühn has got the 2 goals. And, you know, that shot from outside the box was something we talked about ad nauseum for the first 9 months of his career, saying, imagine if he could add that to his game. Well, he's added to his game since Sunday, 2 for 2, because he couldn't do that before. The funny thing about tonight's one was it was in slow motion the way it went in.
Yeah.
It's like it looked like it was some sort of cross/shot, like he just picked his spot. He didn't even rattle it. But I actually think another player that's been really central to all the things we've done right tonight has been Engels. I thought he's been sensational, and him and Kühn together have been amazing. And I think that's the difference between where we were this time last year and where we are now is Kühn and Engels. And you can even look at the difference between what's happening down the left and what's happening down the right if you want to be critical, but I don't want to be critical. I just think it's a reflection of the raised level of quality since last year.
Yep, and AJ's thriving as well, which is probably no coincidence down that right-hand side. You're right to pinpoint Engels. He has come in for some criticism. You watch that first goal, right? And yes, it's all about Kühn. But the assist is Engels. And you know what's better than the assist, right? When you watch him, it's his run. Because he creates a wee bit of space for Kühn because of the way that he kind of runs across him, Kevin. And it opens a wee bit of space up. And then obviously the finish is sublime. It's outstanding. We keep saying it. It's going to get to the point where we run out of superlatives for Nicolas Kühn because he was written off, Kev. Let's be honest. He was written off. I mean, I could go back to some of the live chat in the Acsom live streams and why on earth we signed him on a long-term deal. We heard the whole lot, the whole shooting match. What a transformation. And I get that a big part of that's down to the strength and the fitness. We know that wasn't there. We didn't know at the time. That seemed to filter in a wee bit later. But at £3.5 million for a 24-year-old, I mean, what a snip that's looking to be, isn't it?
Absolutely. So I think when Kühn came in, he came in that was it be an imperfect storm or whatever how you want to describe it, because you've got that article that's in the Daily Record from some expert of German or Austrian football who tells you that Kühn can't beat his man, he can't come inside and he can't shoot. So he's hopeless. There's a reason why he's no longer at Leipzig, Bayern Munich, Ajax, the teams he's been at before. It's a waste of £3.5 million. He's obviously got those health issues that, again, Joe Hart spoken about during the first half. And his performances in the first few games that he played were pretty rotten. To be fair, they were below average. So I think it's maybe understandable as well. You know, like we wanted him to be such a success, but there was a lot of negative press about him. Everything else just didn't fall into place for him. And folks did write him off. I don't like that expression, but people did write him off. It's fair to say that. And those people will now be eating the sweetest humble pie, I think, because he's absolutely turned it around. His stats will be even better than that 57 goals or assists every game, or whatever it was I'd mentioned before. because again he's put another one in. He's just at the moment he is phenomenal, and as long as he can keep this going, then again I'll just keep on thinking happy thoughts about how far this team can go.
Happy thoughts for happy people. Sean, the stat that we're talking about that Kevin just said that he isn't scoring 57 goals a game. It's every 57 minutes he's scoring or
Sorry,
creating.
I'm getting a wee bit carried away with myself there,
Good.
maybe.
He's good, but come on. Every 57 minutes he's scoring or creating a goal.
It's up to 54 now. I just checked.
54. That I mean, what we were talking about, Sean, is like if you had a league table of every player in the world, he's going to be up there. I mean, that is an incredible record, right? Now, I want to bring in some of these comments because this is important. You know, when Kevin and I look back to sitting here at nothing each against Real Madrid, Kev, it's great to just to see how confident and how boisterous and everything we were because we're doing it live, right? So CJ, apart from that 5 minutes when they scored, we've been excellent. And we were probably, I think we defended pretty well as well. Yeah, they might have scored a second goal, but I think we did show that we were resolute in our defence. I was a bit worried when Trusty went down with that ankle. He landed on his ankle awkwardly. Scales, he was out there getting warmed up, but I think we defended well enough. Echo Tonal, who I think used to be Mount Cadath, correct me if I'm wrong. Thank goodness we equalised. For 10 minutes, it looked like we were falling apart. That was the moment, wasn't it, where we thought, is it going to be another Dortmund? Is this game going to be running away from us? And Barry O'Sullivan, is Kühn German for GOAT? What a 45-minute performance that boy has just produced. Let's not forget the second goal. Another player who often comes in for criticism, Sean, and maybe a few eyebrows were raised before the game, is Greg Taylor. But he played a really important part, didn't he, in that second goal?
Yeah, and I do actually think throughout the game he has been a little bit hesitant with the passing. But yeah, he did. It was a great run and a great cutback for the goal. Because you had, even when we won back on the hard press, like I think Joe Hart said it, that you know Hatate was out there and he looks up and there's nothing on, and then like it was actually, it looked like a really, even the ball that he does play into Taylor, it looked like, oh, it's still going to be hard to dig something out here. Taylor does it. He gets in, he runs it in as far as he can, overstretches, but gets it just right, gets his toe on it and cuts it back just into the right space. There's a couple of times we've got the ball into that danger area, but you know, you need to get it onto the end of someone, and there's that was it. It was there, you know. Keep trying, you'll eventually get it, I guess, because I think there was one from Kühn that went in. There was one that did find Engels where it gets blocked. So we have been using that, and I think that's something when we're not playing teams that have got 11 men in the box. That's a little bit more on for us. So I hope that we continue to use that.
There was also that incredible pass by Kühn, wasn't there, through to Maeda?
Oh yeah,
Maeda. That was unreal.
If you're a scout, right, and you're looking at Celtic players, you put that first Kühn goal and that Maeda miss, and then you're like, okay, I think I know which player I'm going to try and sign here. I don't think they're looking at the hat tricks from against Aberdeen. Do you know what I mean? They're probably looking at the finishes in the Champions League.
There's a few comments coming in relation to an article today that I didn't look too much into, that was more or less linking Kühn to a move away, as they do on the eve of a big game. But you can take your 10 million euros and triple it. There you go. And come back to us when you're being serious. Kyogo also an outstanding run and shot. It was a tremendous bit of defending, actually, I've got to say. But again, from an Engels pass, Kev. And I think that a lot of people might look at Engels' price tag, the fact he's coming in after O'Reilly, who had made such an impact, and maybe have been expecting something different. Engels is his own man. He's a dead ball expert by the looks of him. He does have physicality, although I thought he was bossed a couple of times in the first half there. He's 21, so he's still, developing, and he's had a right good first half as well, hasn't he?
He has indeed, and I'm glad that Sean mentioned him earlier on, because I didn't want us to go through the 15 minutes of half time and not mention how good he's been in that first half. He's got that unenviable task, as you say, of replacing Matt O'Reilly, right, who we all fawned over him for the last couple of years because, again, tremendous player. We were never going to get a like-for-like replacement. We probably didn't need to. Engels, as you say, is his own man. He brings his own skill set to this team. That little pass around the corner to send Kühn away for the first goal, and then the run he makes after it to help create the space is brilliant. Again, it's next level stuff. I think his energy has been great. I think his movement off the ball has been really good. He's unlucky not to get the goal in the first minute. He's put in a really, really good workmanlike performance, and maybe because it's us and he's cost 11 million, we want goals and assists every single game from him. I don't think he's that kind of player, but what we are going to get is these kind of performances, which are of a very high standard against big opposition. It's a big game, and he's turned up for it, and that's what we paid 11 million for.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. 1,700 strong on a live stream. We're away to go back to the second half, but before we do so, we speak about the emotion of watching Celtic, and I'm going to leave the last word to Minion Dave, who says we're going to win the Champions League. Thanks everybody for getting involved. Going into the second half and join us at full time on A Celtic State of Mind.